Hi, I'm Holly Berry, a shortstop of the softball team, and you're watching the Black and Gold Report on WFXB.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Jenna Davison, and on the show today, we're going to be talking men's basketball with head coach Ben Miller. And on the second half of the show, we're going to watch a student intern project of a day in the life of Max Gagnon. But first, we're joined by Coach Miller. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jen.
Your team has won 7 of its last 8 games, including Sunday's 77-58 win over Catawba at home. After starting the season 1-3, what do you attribute your team's recent success?
Well, I think our defense has got a little bit better in our rebounding. And some of our older guys were a little banged up early. They're starting to get healthier. And then some of the younger players, everybody else besides those 3 seniors is freshmen or sophomores. And those guys just getting more game experience has also helped.
Well, in the string of success over the last 8 games, Shamel Brackett, George Blakeney, and Quamaine Rose have combined to score more than 46 points per game. Have you identified that trio as your leaders on the court and the ones that will sort of carve your pathway for success in the upcoming part of the season?
Well, really, 2 of those guys are seniors along with KJ, and we put a lot on those seniors' shoulders to be the leaders of the team in everything we do on the court and practice, around the locker room, and obviously in game time. Quamaine has really stepped up as well as a guy that can score, but more importantly, Quamaine has changed our team's defense. The effort he puts forth to guard the ball and disrupt things defensively really changes our team defense. So that's really been a huge plus.
Well, we're sort of a couple games away from the official midpoint of the regular season schedule, but will you sort of give us a midterm progress report on your team and where you see the biggest improvements and where they need to be going into this?
Well, like you mentioned, I do think our team has started to take more pride in getting stops. If you're serious about competing for championships, then you got to be able to guard and rebound the ball. And I think we're making some progress there. The biggest thing we got to really keep improving on is our execution and our ball handling. Against Catawba, we had 21 turnovers. I think 5 of those were illegal screens. Which in some ways that's bad, but it's also good because our guys are trying to set those screens to execute secondary break or whatever we do in the half court. But the biggest improvements we've got to make down the stretch of the season is our team execution offensively.
Well, 2 superlatives that are likely to be achieved in this next month. With 946 career points, George Blakeney is on pace to become the 29th member of the UNCP's 1,000-point club. And with 1,341 points, Shamel Brackett is ready to move into the top 15 all-time leading scorers. Can you just talk about the legacy that those guys will leave after this season?
Yeah, well, they've changed the program. KJ also, those 3 guys, they've seen the program go from, KJ was here as a redshirt, a 6-win season, 4 years ago, to a team that hopefully has a chance to compete, for Peach Belt championships. And those guys have really changed the face of this program and will leave a lasting legacy. And I think they have a chance to even raise that level a little bit higher their senior year.
Well, you came into last weekend as the nation's 7th best and the Peach Belt Conference top squad in terms of rebounding margin. That has sort of been a symbol of your team over the last 5 years. But can you tell us why rebounding is such an important part of your team's success?
Well, it's important for any team. It's always one of those statistics that correlates very strongly with winning percentage. It's not everything, but it's a huge factor because if you out-rebound an opponent by 7, 8, that's like having 7 or 8 extra possessions over the course of the game, and those extra possessions are critical. And when you can get multiple attempts at that basket each time down the floor, I think that really helps your team and gives you more shots. One statistic we really look at is what percentage of our missed shots are we getting? And if we're getting close to half, that's really good. If we're down there getting a third or less, then that's not good enough. So we really want to try to get those extra shots at the offensive end, and then obviously limit the opponent getting those extra shots. And it's really critical, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Well, I know definitely whenever we're at the scorer's table, a lot of your coaching staff always tries to keep a tally of what your rebounds are, so it's interesting to watch your team develop. But let's talk about the depth of your team this year. Last season, Griffin Pittman, and Ben Jacobs each started most of the second half of the season, but are now key weapons coming off your bench. Is depth one of the main weapons of this team this year, and how has it worked in your favor over the last 12 games?
Yeah, I do feel good about our depth. We've got, a good rotation going now, but we also have, 5, 6, 7 guys off the bench that can come in and compete in the guts of the game to try to win games. And so, even those guys, number 13, 14, 15, those guys that aren't getting in as much, they're really good for us in practice. But our depth has been really good, and it's something hopefully will pay off as the season goes on.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking to head men's basketball coach Ben Miller. So stay tuned.
I thought it was my lungs.
I was having shortness of breath.
I had a great team of doctors.
Dr. Lowry, wonderful doctor. The only one, really, who has ever had my heart in his hand.
I don't think you got any better treatment in Duke than you got him.
I felt very safe.
I feel good. Got energy.
I go to the mall and walk 2 miles.
I come out victorious.
I love Southeastern, and of course, if it has something to do with their heart, this is where you get it.
Founded in 1887 as the Croatan Normal School, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke has grown to a student body of over 6,000 and is now one of the most diverse institutions in the nation. As we prepare to celebrate our 125th anniversary in 2012, we remember the rich heritage of this institution and anticipate an exciting future. With an average class size of 21 students, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke is a place where students will get the personal attention they deserve at a great value. If you want to know your professors and classmates and have an enriching experience inside and outside of the classroom, then UNC Pembroke might be exactly what you're looking for. If you have what it takes to be brave, check out experience.uncp.edu. There, you can take an online campus tour, schedule a campus visit, or apply for admission. Going to UNCP isn't for everyone. It's for the brave.